Okay, people, time to have a look at pivot tables and charts. So tables just the numbers, charts the graph. So probably coming from VLOOKUP data, although I've just copied the numbers and the values rather than the formulas. So before we get on, before you start tampering with data, make a copy of the data. It also gives a wide variety of options. We can go back to it and play it, and leaves your original data intact. So if it goes haywire, you can go back, recopy, start again, and you haven't wasted too much time. You've probably got to do something to the data first. We're only removing duplicates, although there is a potential for something going wrong there. And if it goes really bad, you can re-download the whole workbook, but don't start again. Just move the one tab of data, so you've got a fresh set of data as it should be. So let's do that first then. So to our data, right click, move all copy, create a copy. That gives us a copy. We can use the copy to change and draw things from rather than the original set. If I had to go back and had a downloaded version, another downloaded version, not the one that's got AAT number and name on it, I could actually just move the tab straight away. I can move it straight into the book. So I've now actually got 3 copies of the original, one that was copied from it and one that came in from the original workbook re-downloaded. So let's have a look at the lines and everything first. Now at the moment that won't do, that'll get confused because it's January and January. We know what it really means. We don't want to make it too complicated with years. Just add something like a Y to it and then it'll appear spaced out correctly. So select what we need, insert, pivot chart. So all recent versions do charts and tables, probably in a new worksheet. Apart from anything else, it allows you to do a bigger graph and click on things easier. And we're only interested, we've only got month in sales, except it hasn't come up because they're in the same axis as sales. We want the months by sales. Not quite working out right at the moment. We don't need a legend, there's only one thing, and we can just actually put a title or something else suitable. And we don't want the number of sales, which is pretty much the same. We want the value of our sales, and you can see nice positive story, and you can see why I wanted to see January in there. So we can actually add a trend line to column charts, but probably better for this to have a line chart. So right click, change chart type onto a line. Downside of using a line, doesn't start in the origin, starts in the wrong place, so you have to hover. When you see the horizontal category axis, right click, format the axis. Gets annoying when you've done it a few hundred times, but now it starts in the right place. So now we can add our trend line. More than one way of doing the same thing. We can click on the plus symbol and here's our trend line. It automatically put in a forecast one, so it's gone 2 months ahead of where we wanted. Well, maybe that's too far, maybe it's not what I'm asked for. Hover over it, right click, format the trend line, and if I change it to 0, I've only got it as far as January, which is what I may have wanted, depending on the instructions given. So that's one way of doing it. We're going to get exactly the same result doing it another route. We can just right click on the line, add the trend line, go straight to here, which still says forward 0, it hasn't changed, and comes up with the same options. If I wanted to, I could have a moving average or an exponential one, but this one's fine for most purposes. Click on what you're told to do. So apart from thickening up the lines, dotted lines for trends is normal. There's not a lot else we can do with this, so we'll move on to one of our other data sets. So this is the one that we're told we have to do something with first. It'll take a couple of seconds just to remind us. Let's go and get rid of a duplicate. So data, remove duplicates. Could potentially go wrong because this company has sold the same products in the same quantities to different customers. So there's lots of 99.99s. but it's actually invoices that we duplicated, and there was one. So a quick screenshot, put it into the screenshot tab, and we can move on. It's already highlighted, ready to have a few other versions. So no way can we show you everything. It will take about a year, but we can show you most of the things that you have to change. We've got a more complex set of data here, which gives us a few options, and might as well have a bigger graph right from the outset, although I haven't put anything in there. So we want to analyse our sales by customers, what we sold them and how much. Net is obviously better because that's our money. Gross is some of that money is the government, so it shouldn't really be included. Still all in one column because they're all in the axis, but the value is all going to be about the how much we sell, or not how many times we've sold, which is the count. So I click value, but the sum. There is a time for count, time for sum. Don't need the legend. We could click and remove it that way. Suitable title. Still a bit complicated, just the way it's come out. Two things in the axis. Okay, well let's have a look, see what else we can do. We can move things around. So we've now got customers and items. So customers down the bottom and then everything split into the items. We could try it the other way around as well. So we could look at our items and which customers have bought them off us. So we could look at them item by item. Or we could actually just analyse one item. So let's have a look at a filter. So move the item code into the filter. And let's just have a look at our IT1, whatever that is. And then we now know, except we don't know which customers are because there's no legend on that one. So just put the legend in. You can also put it at the bottom. Sometimes it gives you more space on the graph, sometimes. But that will do fine. So we've analysed that item by customer. In fact, we, strictly speaking, should be moving it down there, although it did actually come out perfectly okay. By pound. So if that's what helps, that helps. If I didn't like the colours, I can change them. Just got to remember to double click. If you single click, it selects the whole lot and they'll all come out the wrong colour. This is maybe make it a brighter green. I could go fancy and start to put in all sorts of patterns and stuff on it as well. So we've changed the colours, we've filtered, and we've changed our type. So let's have a look at changing it even further. Let's have a look at a pie chart. So 3D nearly all the time. Now why is that one coming out? It's IT1. We need to bring the customers back in. So for the bar chart, we needed customers in the legend. Now we need it in the axis. It's done the job. It looks quite fancy. Show off on the Zoom meeting. Okay, just to be clever, we can change it. We can explode segments. We can change the angles, and we can put a bit of soft touch 3D on them if we wanted to. But so we can do things manually. We can select the whole lot. Notice all the points up, and then drag a segment out. Or we can do the whole lot. Make sure we're getting the whole lot. Right click, format data series. Again, it's something to be, and that's pulled out all the sections. And then there's a few variations on a theme, trying to bring up the legend or trying to bring up numbers. But by and large, it's about exploding one or all of the slices. So that one's for all of the slices. There are other ways of doing all the slices. That's just the best way of doing it. And we can even change the first slice because we can pull one out. It automatically went there. The one at 3/4 to the hour is the first slice. And there isn't much else we can do on pivot charts. Changes the type, change the segments, filtered, add a trend line. That's pretty much everything you can do, just different versions of graphs and different ways of doing it.